Hello everyone, this is Nana.
And I'm Ngozi, and welcome back to our channel, Ejima.
So today we're going to be talking about making friends in a new city. Well, most of you know, I moved to Charlotte a few months ago, and being in a different city, away from your family, away from everyone basically you've known for most of your life, you do have to go out of your way to make some new friends. So I just want to share some tips about how I've gone about doing it, and maybe we can share in the comment section if anyone else has any suggestions.
Yeah, definitely. And it also doesn't apply to necessarily moving to a new city. It could be you could just have a change in your life, things can happen, you just may just want to make new friends no matter where you are. I think these tips can be very, very useful.
Yeah, so the number one thing I've realized is that when it comes to making friends, it just usually doesn't happen. You kind of have to make an effort, right? And it's the same way even with like dating and relationships. A lot of times like we have this theory that, oh, the man's gonna knock on my door, or God will let it happen, or he'll just fall from the sky. And some people are lucky that it happens like that. Like they don't even think about these things and it happen. But in most cases, when it comes to friends, like you have to be open to making friends, right? And now, especially with the pandemic, it's even harder because a lot of people are isolated inside their homes, working from home, not going out, fearful of going out. It's not like you can just get up and necessarily go to bars and restaurants and events like maybe you used to go to. So now I definitely feel like you have to be more intentional when it comes to making friends. So for me, I did use Bumble Friends. I did join that like about a couple of months ago. First off, I did join the real Bumble, right? It was like a few days. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I don't like the app Bumble when it comes to dating. I don't like how like you can't see the people who have liked you.
Like you pay.
Right. Like, I don't really like the way Bumble is set up, to be honest. So I was like, you know what? Forget about men. Let me focus on making friends because that's just as important. You know what I mean? So I switched to the Friends Bumble. And I was amazed. I won't lie to y'all. Like, I was so impressed because I had in my mind in a way that like it's gonna be weirdos, it's gonna be people who I can't relate with, it's gonna be with people who are just antisocial. I don't need this. I'm friendly, I'm social, but I realized all of that doesn't matter if you're stuck in the house. You could be the most social person, the most friendly person, the most outgoing person, the nicest person, the meanest person, whatever. But if you're not out there meeting people, you are still gonna have a problem finding friends. So I went on there and I could not believe how many normal people were on the app that looked just like me. Like a lot of people in their 20s, 30s. And what surprised me the most, I was talking to my friend earlier today on a walk, is that a lot of the girls on there are in relationships. And I would always think that once you have a man, you don't really need friends. Just be with your man.
That's more reason why you want friends.
Right.
You don't always want to be with your man.
So a lot of them in their bio will be like, oh, I have a boyfriend. I've been with him for 3 years, but I realize it's time for me to make my own friends. I'm tired of hanging out with his friends, or I'm tired of being with my boyfriend quarantine. Like a lot of the girls there are actually in relationships, and I thought that was so amazing how they realized that there's more to life than just a boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like they still need to make friends, and I'm just like, yo, I don't want to end up like some of these people who've been in the city for 5 years and still looking for people to hang out with. You know what I mean? Or 4 years, and that's the reality, is that if you don't make an effort, they're not just going to necessarily appear, right? So another thing I was talking to my friend this morning on my walk is that where like people talk about, oh, at the workplace, you can meet friends. And she was like, I don't think those are really real friends. Yeah, it reminded me of my sister. She always has that argument. But some people get lucky. Some people's maid of honors are people they met from their work.
It's great for them.
Some people's best friends.
I feel like there's a boundary. It's not professional. I feel like there's a boundary you should put between your work colleagues. Like I feel like I see you Monday through Friday, whether it's virtual or in person. I don't want to hang out with you on the weekend.
But that's because maybe you never met someone that's so lit. What if there's someone that you really vibe with?
People that are lit, people go to work and do. But I'm saying, I just feel like it's not really professional. Like I feel like there's a boundary that you're supposed to have with people that you work with just to keep it professional. When you guys go to work, you don't feel like these lines are blurred. Like I'm not saying people don't do. I'm not saying people
because my last job that I was working in New Jersey as a nurse, I didn't have coworkers. I worked in an independent clinic by myself, so I don't even know how to relate to. I didn't have coworkers, but all my other jobs before that, I've worked a lot outside of nursing. And to think back and now, none of those people I'm talking to right now, none of those people are really close. It was just people that pass time.
Yeah, so besides what Nana spoke of, I think that a great way to make friends would be through a religious organization group. So like, for example, like church is a big one. Like, and it's not just going to church. You could try new churches, you could visit places, but when you're just in and out, it's hard to meet people. You need to build connections with people. I think the great way
going to church right now.
Yes, but they're virtually going to church, and these groups are still virtually existing. Like my church, we still have groups every day of the week. So I think a great way to meet people is through joining a group within your church. So a smaller group. So it's like you have a community within your church, because you can go to 20 churches if you want to and just go in and come out, but you're not going to meet people. Yeah. you have to be involved somewhat. And you don't have to be a singer, you don't have to be in choir, you don't have to be cleaning, you don't have to do any of that. You just have to join a small group with people with common interests. Like, for example, singles group, young adults group, Bible reading group. You could just pick anything. Professionals group. A lot of churches do have these smaller groups, and I think it's a great way to meet people because you already have a common interest. You're looking for the same thing. You have like women's group. You're looking to fellowship with women, your fellow woman. That would be a great group to join for someone that wants to make female friends. And kind of piggybacking off of that, I would say is to join organizations or groups based on common interest. For example, let's say you love social movements. You could join like NAACP. You can join a group for cookers, people who cook, people who like fashion, professional organizations based on what you do every day, based on your hobby. You can like reading.
That's hard for me because I've noticed a lot of these, at least in my experience, like I was a part of like a Black Nurse Association in New Jersey, and like a lot of people are just older.
Yeah, so I'm saying I didn't really name that. I just named that because I'm thinking of it, but I'm thinking about something more like gauging, something that's more digital, something that's more art, like more of a hobby, if anything. Crafts. Not really professional, because I feel like when you go to these professional organizations, like usually always older people who take it seriously. So I would say something more aligned with your hobby, your interests. And I think
a book club is really good. 2021, I'm a
yeah, definitely want to join. Like I said, I would try and find a Black woman's book club or African literature book club. So you get it very niche and very specific. So if I'm in a group book club with a bunch of Black women who love African literature, we already have a big commonality. And not to say that, I still not like them. Women, I still have issues, but it's just like, it just makes it easier to sift through all these things that, can go wrong in a friendship.
You're right. So ultimately, I think a lot of things that we talked about really involve putting yourself out there. And I think that's a big thing that I think sometimes we forget. It's just that like we think that, like I said in the beginning, friendships is like you have to kind of make an effort in a lot of cases, especially when you're outside of college, I definitely think school is a great opportunity. Like I always tell people, like if you're thinking of like moving, but you're also thinking about going back to school, do them together. Like I think that's one of the best ways to move, because that way, let's say you're moving, you want to go to like somehow you want to go to like get your MBA, you want to go into law school, but you want to leave your state, do it then. Because at that time, you're going to get the different experience from moving, and then you're also going to have a social circle, right? Because you're going to have classmates, you're going to have people. I feel like there's nothing like moving with school related, in my opinion. I just feel like, and I'm speaking as someone who went to school twice. Like even my second degree, it's not the same because I was going from home. I can't compare it to my Temple experience, but I still have friends I made from that I still talk to now. I still had a social group, like just going to work or just making friends off of an app, or just like they can work, but it's not the numbers are so small. You don't have that large peer group. Like there's nothing. I always tell Ngozi that we argue sometimes, but you just finished school. You should have so many friends. You just finished school. You should have so many friends. Why don't you have so many friends? You were just in school. So end of the day, it's also like the type of program maybe you're in, the type of people you might, and
what you want from your friendships. You can have friends, doesn't mean you're going out with them. People have friends just to say you have friends. Like just people you talk to, you can confide in. But if you're looking for people to go out every weekend, that may be, something that an app may be more better suited for.
Right.
You just have acquaintances. Right. Just people just to chill and hang with. Because you can have friends.
A lot of girls on the app, they're like, I just need a wine buddy.
Yeah.
I need a brunch buddy. A big one is I need a weekend brunch buddy. I need a girl to go shopping with, get manis and petties. Like that's more of just like, people to do stuff with.
Yeah, to do stuff with.
And I don't mind that. Not every friend needs to be, I need to be telling my deepest, darkest secrets,
trust in my life. Nah. So it just depends on the type of friendship you're looking for. So
I just don't like the narrative I hear sometimes about like, oh, I don't need friends. All I need is my this. All I need is my man. All I need is my family. All I need is this. And I'm telling you, as someone who has a twin sister, mad cousins my age, I still need a differentiation of friends. Like I still need outside people.
You need fresh air. You need
a different social,
a different outlook.
There's certain things I'm gonna tell my friend. I don't want to tell Ngozi. I don't want to tell my cousins. You're gonna say it's not like I'm hiding it. It's not like I'm hiding it, but it's just like they don't understand certain things, or they're gonna be more judgmental. You know what I mean? They know me more. We're closer, but sometimes you just want someone that's just there, someone that's just regular, someone that sees life from a different perspective. Because most of the time, the people you're hanging around, most time they look at life kind of similar to how you do.
So there's a bias.
Right. So there's always some type of bias in some things you want to do, or you might present some ideas, you want to do some things. And like, let's say you're conservative. Most of my cousins or friends are going to be conservative probably. You know what I mean? But like, maybe I want a friend who's more liberal. Maybe I want a friend who's more risk-taking. Maybe I want a friend who's more like down, So I definitely feel like friends are still important. Like I always say, I don't think you need a bunch of friends. Some people overdo it. They cry about friends, but they were having 20 friends at once. Like, I don't need a bunch of friends.
People in 1 month becoming best friends, and next come out together as enemies. Like we also, it's like a relationship. You have to take your time.
Right.
You have to gauge people, see how they act in different environments. Same way they're gauging you. Like it takes time to build friendship. It's not something that's gonna happen overnight. You're not gonna meet someone tomorrow and the next month they're your best friend. I just don't really feel like that's realistic. I just feel like that's not real. Like it takes time to make good friends.
There are fake people out
there. It
Yeah,
takes time to make good friends. Another thing I want to hit on that nail is out. We always mention how it's much easier to make friends in college, around so many people. But it's not just because you're around a lot of people. It's because you haven't been bruised or hurt as much yet. So you're so optimistic, you're so positive. Oh, people are so great. I can make friends. They're not going to do this. They're not going to do that. It's kind of being naive is not always a bad thing. You know, sometimes you get too old, you become too serious, you become too bitter. Everyone is negative. Everyone's against you. Everyone's fake. Everyone betrays you, but you're the perfect person. So we have to be realistic at the same time. Like we said, getting older, you know, you figure out people. But if we lived our life based on what we've experienced, we would be doing nothing.
You wouldn't even be married.
We wouldn't have children. We wouldn't get married. We wouldn't date. We just sit in the corner and pray. Because everybody's going to betray us in some way. Even people's children betray them. People's siblings betray them. People's co-workers, like husbands. Your husbands will what? People's spouses betray them. Literally leave them for someone else. So it's like if we live like that, we won't do anything. So I feel like people are too negative when it comes to friendships.
Friends like this. Okay, your husband, what is he?
Yeah,
your husband has
people are too negative when it comes to friends.
There?
Despite everything, I'm not even a friend person, but friends are very important. I will not lie. I will not deny that no man is an island. You need friends. Like I said, you may not be a person that goes out. Some people don't go out, so they're not making friends, but they need to be. When something happens, they need someone to call and vent to. They need to be able to get someone's perspective. They need to be able to see,
or even just moving somewhere different. Like I've just thought about it. Like even like sometimes like I'm in Charlotte now, and they'll put emergency contact, and I'm just like, am I still gonna be putting in Ngozi? And Ngozi's not close to me. If something happens, I need to put someone that's close to me. So sometimes I'll be like putting like my older sister. You know what I mean? At least she's around. You know, but like little things like that. Like some people might be able to put a friend there if they're that close. You know what I mean? Like friends are very, very important. I just think that sometimes like people blame the people, but they're not looking inward. They're not looking at themselves. Like, no, if you be that friend you want somebody to be to you. You get what I'm saying? Like you're selfish, you don't care about nobody, you live in your own world, and then you expect friends to be flocking you. You know what I mean? You don't have friends because you're not a good person. You don't have friends because you're selfish. You don't have friends because you're self-absorbed. You know, so don't sit around and always blame, oh, friends are this, girls are haters, girls are enemies, oh, my enemies.
I've like a lot of people that say that deep down inside wish they really had good friends, but they're just not willing to put in the effort. It's work. They can't meet the people. They've had bad experiences, but they look at friends and be like, oh, I just wish I could have that group of friends that I could just... You see married people feeding for friends. I'd be like, you guys are married with 4 kids. Like, how do you have time for friends? They're having dinner parties. They celebrate their friends' birthday, their children's birthday. They're having birthday. It's personality. They're having their friends' birthday. They're going to travel with their friends, throwing their birthday parties, baby showers. If you don't have friends, who's doing this stuff for you?
Right.
Well, who's doing your baby shower? Who's helping you do wedding stuff? Who's helping you plan stuff? Like you need friends. I'm not saying you have to overdo it. Some people are really into it, and that's fine if it works for them.
Right.
But don't tell me no matter how self-reserved you are, no matter how boring you are, does not mean you do not need friends.
You and your friend can just watch a movie together.
Yeah, you can have a friend that comes to us, you guys watch movies, even if you're not an out there person. You don't just because you don't go to the club and go to bars doesn't mean you don't need friends. That's the point I'm trying to make. And despite it all, let's just be positive. There are good people out there no matter what, because no matter people get heartbroken 20 times and still get married 21 times, because there are still good people out there. So let's not let a bunch of bad apples. If I use my past experiences, these fools have had friends. If I use my past experience, I would never make a friend again in my life. But I know they were stupid. So I'm not going to use them to judge every female, every human being. They weren't loyal. So they're in my past. I have nightmares once in a while about them. Like once a year I have a nightmare and I move on with my life. Like there are non-factors. But I'm just saying, like, don't let them take friendships are so beautiful. You can get so much out of them. They could bring you so much joy. So don't let your bad past experiences ruin you making a bunch of good friends.
You said, same way when dating. Like it's not.
That's
why
I said don't
be your friend.
You don't rush it.
There's some people you might go on the Bumble thing. You sit there like, nah, this person a little bit too much for me, or they seem like they talk too much, or they gossip too much. You stop talking to them. You know what I mean? Or you just chill. Maybe this is the only person you hang out with. You know what I mean? Like no one is saying because you want friends, you don't pay attention to important things.
You don't have to be desperate to make friends.
You're not desperate for friends.
But let us know how you feel about this, especially during a pandemic, whether you've moved or not. Just being a pandemic has been just difficult for people to make friends. Period.
And I think now is when a lot of people are realizing more the importance,
the value of friendships.
And I think that's why Bumble Friends is so lit. Everyone's buying you. Oh, I'm tired of being. I'm just thinking like, but you were in Charlotte for 5 years. Why now? Why
it's
now?
Never too late. But let us know how you feel about this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and comment with us below how you feel about making friends, some ideas, some ways you can make friends, things we haven't hit, things we haven't discussed, and we'll see you next time. Bye.